Well, hello and welcome back to day 14 of our 30-day accelerator. You guys are almost halfway there. Now, what we started yesterday was building out the sales page for your new program, and I left you with the task of attempting the customization, or at least some of the customization on that sales page. What I wanted to do today is go back to the page and show you how to make the countdown clocks tick on your sales page. Okay, so if you've got enrollment that's only open for a set period of time, how can you get the countdown clock ticking down to when the doors are closing for your program? Now, I want to go one step further than that. When the countdown clock does hit 0, I would like it to redirect people to a waitlist page, okay, so that they have to sign up by the deadline, or they're just going to have to go onto the waitlist for the next cohort. So let me share my screen and we'll get into it. All right, guys, so here we are back inside of my demo account, and we're in the website menu down in pages on that landing tab. Now, yesterday we made a start on the sales page for your program. And what I want to do firstly in today's tutorial is set up a waitlist page. So if you've got a closing date and time when enrollments are closing and people miss it, then what we want the system to do is to redirect them to a waitlist page where they can put in their details, and then you'll get in touch with them when the doors are next open. Now, the quickest way to create a waitlist page in your account is once you have your sales page done, it's all branded, it talks about your program, I would come over here to these 3 little dots and I would click to duplicate it. So just make a copy of your sales page as the starting point for your waitlist page. Okay, so I already did that. I created a duplicate here, and then I've gone in to customize it. So if we open it up, it now looks like this. Okay, so it's identical to the sales page, but all we want to do on this page is just take a few of these sections out, because usually on a waitlist page, you're not going to go into things like FAQs or pricing or bonuses. Okay, so what I would do with your duplicate sales page is have a scan down the page and hide the sections that don't make sense for a waitlist page. Now, you could just go with an above the fold page, very, very simple, maybe just the hero image, the program name, a little a little description about what the program is about. And then rather than a join us button, you could have something like, join the waitlist or be notified when next open, or whatever you would like to write on the button. So we would keep the hero section for sure. Up to you whether or not you're going to keep, the other sections here. I would keep in testimonials. So look, let's just have a look here. As a minimum, we just come over here and hide. And I generally do prefer to hide rather than to delete, just in case you decide later that you would like to put it back. So I'm going to hide that. I think for now, I'm going to hide this. Might decide to put it back later, but I think for now I'm going to hide it. And I'll hide this. See, what do we think about that? Potentially, I would keep this section still in. And not this. Take out the inclusions. Okay, so we've got the testimonials there. Now, I probably would have to adjust some of the branding, because here we've got sort of this taupe colored background, and this is also the same color background. And I generally like each section to be a little bit contrasting. So I might go into this section and into the background of that and just change it to white. Okay, then leave the testimonials there and back over to here. I would not probably include the modules or the pricing or the early bird bonuses. Probably one set of testimonials is going to be enough, so take that one out. You might decide to leave in the bio section. Okay, now once I show you how to get the countdown clocks to work, you might decide to leave or to create a new countdown clock for your waitlist page that says doors will reopen on and then have a countdown clock, ticking down to when the doors are reopening. For now, I'm going to take it out, but you guys could absolutely put that back in, and we'll take out the guarantee. Okay, so pretty simple here. And then here, this button, rather than it saying join us, I would just have it say something like keep me posted or join the waitlist. Okay, make sure it's nice and clear for people. Now, if I click that button, I'd like a little pop-up to come up that's going to collect their details. So the button action is going to be to open the two-step opt-in pop-up. And come down here. So far, I don't have any other buttons, but I'd probably add in one final button right at the bottom of the page. So if I click into that section and we just add some content, call to action, and join the waitlist. And if they click that button, again, I want the pop-up to come up. This. Okay, now if you want a little bit of space in between these blocks and this block, if you just go into the desktop layout and into the outside spacing, and we just say make it 50, okay, it's just going to move it down a little bit. Okay, so a very simple waitlist page that we've got here. Haven't told them the price, haven't given them any specifics, but you would give them enough about the program that it looks interesting. I would definitely include some testimonials so that there's some social proof and enough encouragement so that they would put themselves onto the waitlist. Now, if they click that button, the little pop-up is going to come up. And to customize that pop-up, you're going to need to go in this sections area. You'll scroll all the way down to the two-step opt-in, and it's easier to edit if you can see it. So check that little box. Now, I don't really need an image in the pop-up, so I'm just going to hide that. And then I do need a form. I'm going to need to create a waitlist form for my program if you don't already have one. So click into the form. Here where it says edit your forms, that's a hyperlink. So we'll click on that and it opens up in a new tab for us. And let's see, now I already have a waitlist form in this account. So I'm just going to use that. But if you didn't, you would go up here, just in the top right, click that button for new form and create a waitlist form. Okay, now if we have a look at this one that is pre-existing, you just make it similar to this, okay? Give it a name, the form a name. And if you are worried about GDPR compliance, stick with the double opt-in. If you want people to just be able to add their details and immediately get added to your contacts list as a subscriber and be on the wait list, then changing it to single opt-in is less hoops for people to jump through. And then you could set up a tag automation down here where if they submit this form that we're about to put on the waitlist page, then give them the waitlist tag, okay, so that you can easily find them later. So once you have got your form set up, you would go back over to your waitlist page and you go and look for that form. And it was this one is the one that we were just in. That. Okay, now, if you wanted to go one step further, we're not going to do it today because we don't have quite enough time, but if you wanted to go one step further, you could create another page in your account, which is a waitlist confirmation page. Okay, so that if people put their details into the waitlist form, they then go through to a thank you page that says, thank you, your interest has been received. We'll let you know when the doors reopen. So if you want to go that extra step, we'll talk about it a little bit more in a second, but once you have created that extra page, then in here, the thank you page, you would set it to a landing page and you would choose your waitlist confirmation page from this drop down here. Okay, now I don't have one, but if I did have one, it would show up in this drop down. Okay, if you don't put anything in here, once they submit their details, they're just going to go through to quite a boring gray Kajabi screen. Okay, it doesn't look very interesting. So if you've got the time, I would encourage you to create a waitlist confirmation page in addition to the waitlist page that we're working on right now. Now you would update this text down here, program name, join the wait list. First here, when doors reopen, something like that. Okay, now you've got a button there, and if I remove the color from that block, the button just takes on the color that we set inside of the settings tab. And if I take that border radius out, that'll also take on that sort of pill shape. Probably auto is better than full, like that. And if you would rather that these fields are not stacked on top of each other, then you can check this box to make the form inline if you prefer that style, okay, like this. So up to you. When you are editing the form, okay, you don't have to collect their name. You could hit that little cross inside of the form and just collect their email. But if you want to be, emailing them and including their first name in emails that let them know the doors are open later on, then, you're going to need to keep that name field in there. But as a minimum, email and then name also, I like to include it personally inside of my forms. All right, so if you want them on next to each other like that, otherwise, if you uncheck that box, they're going to go back to stacked. Right, so you can play around with this form and make it look, very interesting. Once you have done that, once you've finished editing your form, just uncheck this little box here so that we can go back to the page. And then up in the top right corner, you're going to save that. Okay, now if we preview this page and wait patiently for it to load. Okay, so we've just got the hero section. We've got a little bit about the program. We've got some social proof, a little bio, and then a couple of buttons. And if people click the button, the pop-up comes up. I'm just going to show you the gray boring screen. If they click submit on that, okay, you can see that they just go through to this gray confirmation page. So if you want them to see something more interesting than that, then back over inside of the pages area of your account over here. Once you are done customizing your waitlist page, will we do it? Oh, it'll only take a couple of minutes. Let's do it, guys, while we're here. So once we've finished editing our waitlist page and we've made it like a nice short version of the sales page, then click on those three little dots, duplicate your waitlist page, and we'll wait for it to do its thing. Okay, and then we're just going to just update the page name. And something like this. All right, so now if I go back over here, we just refresh. Okay, so you've now got this waitlist confirmation page, which right now is identical to the waitlist page. So you would go into that waitlist confirmation page, you'd open that up in customize mode and wait patiently. Okay, and all you'd need to do is some minor tweaks here. You can leave the testimonials on the page. You're probably not going to need this section here. So I can take that out. Okay, and here where we've got the button to join the wait list, you wouldn't need that. You could either just change it up here so that it just says something like interest received, or you're on the list, or congratulations, whatever you would like to write there. And, oops, let me take that out. And then here, I would just put a little bit of text about what they can expect to happen next. If you happen to have dates, you could put that in there as well. And then as for that button, you could either repurpose it into being something like join the Facebook group, but you wouldn't need that button to bring up the pop-up. So if we click on that button down here in the call to action, we don't want it to bring up the pop-up any longer. Maybe we could have it just be join the Facebook group. And the button action, you would change that to a URL, and then you would just put your Facebook group link in there. Okay, and then down here, probably don't really need this bio section at all, so we take that one out. Okay, so it just looks like this now. That's your waitlist confirmation page. Once you've got that, you'll go back into your waitlist page over here. And where we were editing that little pop-up, where people were adding themselves to the waitlist, you go back into the form. And now that we have a waitlist confirmation page, you would say, go to a landing page after the form gets submitted, and you would look up your confirmation. Here it is, that waitlist confirmation. Okay, so once you've done making that edit, you come and uncheck the box, make sure you hit save. And now if we preview it, okay, so people are on the waitlist page, they click the button, the pop-up comes up in a minute, they put their details in, they hit submit, and then rather than going through to that gray screen, they've now gone through to the waitlist confirmation page. Okay, so we've just sort of quickly put together a couple of extra pages. And now what we're going to be able to do is go back into the original sales page, okay, this sales page, where we do have some countdown clocks for when enrollment is closing. If we just go down to this bottom one, I think there was one at the bottom down here. And what we're going to do next is we're going to set up an event so that this countdown clock will tick. And when the enrollment closes, when the countdown clock runs out, then we are going to redirect people over to that waitlist page to put their details in to express interest. Okay, so I will be back with part 2. All right, guys, so where we are now is over inside of the marketing menu, and we're down inside of events. And in order to make those countdown clocks tick, what we need to do is create an event inside of your account. So I'm going to hit this big black button here to get started with our first event. And we'll give our event a name. I'm going to call it, let's see, Sassy Bucks Cart Close. And then we're going to decide when do you want the cart to close for your program. If it's closing, maybe it's evergreen and open all year round. But you could also create an event for when early bird bonuses are going to expire. So what I'm going to go with is, let's just pick a date in the future. I'm going to say that it finishes Friday night, and I'd like it to close at midnight, so last thing Friday, and I'd like to set it to Pacific time. Now, if you want it to end at like midnight, the last thing in the day on whichever date, then you're actually better off going ahead to the next day and setting it for 12 a.m. Okay, so that's going to be midnight of the night before. So I've set it for Saturday the 13th at midnight. And then I'm going to specify the time zone in there. I'm going to go with Pacific, because they're almost the last people to get to midnight. And I want everyone to, have equal opportunity to enroll before the cutoff. So we set up your event, we click save. Now, a couple of things to know about events. If you miss the date, like if this date, the 13th of April, comes and goes, and you decide, actually I want to extend the cart, I'd like to push it out by a couple of days, you can't edit an event date and time that is in the past. So if you want to make any changes, if you think perhaps you want to extend things, make sure you do update it or edit it before this date approaches. If you want to, you can add emails into the event. So we're not going to look at this today, but we probably will look at it towards the end of the accelerator. For today, just know that, it is possible once you've created an event in the system, let's just say it was a webinar event, it is possible to register people to an event and have a number of emails in there that send to people who have been registered to a specific event. Now, we're not using the events for that purpose in today's training. All we want to do is create an event in the system, not to register people to it, but just to have something that our countdown clock can count down to. All right, so we're not going to put in any emails, but just know that you can, and I'll do my best to come back to that at the end of our 30-day accelerator. So once you have got your event created, you would then go back over to your sales page, and anywhere where you have a countdown clock, you would click into the countdown clock, and then over in the side panel, it says here, select your event. So I've only got one created so far, so I'd put that in. And I'm going to click save just to trigger it to move. We'll just wait 1 second. Waiting. Okay, there we go. So the countdown clock is going to end in 10 days, 14 minutes, 38 seconds. Now, as it is in its current state, when that countdown clock runs out, nothing's going to happen. Like, people would still be able to get to this page and view it. And if they wanted to, they could click the button and they could go and sign up, even though the countdown clock is at 0. If you want it that when the countdown clock hits 0, they actually can't get to this page anymore, then what you do is inside of your countdown block over here, you check this little box to enable countdown action. And you say to Kajabi, when this countdown runs out, so after the event, then go to landing page, and you would choose your waitlist page from the list, just like that, and you would click save. Now, after event, if you specify your waitlist page in here, but you forget to check that box, again, nothing's going to happen, okay? This clock will just sit at 0 and there'll be nothing stopping people from getting to this page and signing up. So you need to make sure that you specify your waitlist page in the box, and also check this little box here that enables countdown action. And then if anybody comes across this sales page link after this countdown clock has hit 0 and they try and get to this sales page, they're just going to be automatically redirected over to the waitlist page, and they'll need to put their details in there. Okay, so this is just an easy way to automate the switching off of your sales page without you having to sit up until midnight and, you know, set the page to draft or change the URLs or do any of that other stuff that none of us want to do. Okay, so this is just a really easy way to automate the redirect over to the waitlist page when the countdown clock runs out. All right, so we did quite a lot today again, and your homework for today, you should already have the sales page, but I would duplicate it as a starting point for the waitlist page. Once you've got the waitlist page, I would duplicate that for the waitlist confirmation page. If you don't already have it, you'll need a waitlist form that you're going to put into the pop-up of that waitlist page. Then we're going to create an event, okay, so that your countdown clock will tick. And when the countdown clock runs out, check that little box if you want to use the feature so that it will auto-direct people who land on that sales page or try and land on that sales page over to the waitlist page so that they can express interest. Okay, so that is it for today. Might need to watch this one a couple of times because there were quite a few little bits and pieces covered. Tomorrow what we're going to do is we'll come back, we'll spend one more day on sales pages, and I will take you through just a few little customization tips and tricks, okay, for when you are branding your sales page, okay, just things around spacing, sizing, you know, moving things around, mobile view, important things that perhaps, you know, might be driving you a little bit bananas if you are brand new to the Kajabi page builder. I will see you back tomorrow.